Welcome to the Big Heart Business Show. My name is Carrie Shepard, business strategist, philanthropist, and believer. I'm on a mission to help entrepreneurs be more, do more, and give more beyond their business, and to do it with more heart and less hustle. Each week on the show, I'll be here with a message or interview from a powerhouse entrepreneur that has built their business by giving back. Together, we will inspire you, fuel you, and get you going with simple action steps and strategies to grow your purpose-driven business. Our philosophy here is that we can change the world one big heart business at a time. Let's get started. Welcome to episode number 11 of the Big Heart Business Show. Today, I am so excited to be speaking with Heidi Stevens. Let me quickly give you an introduction of this wonderful woman. Heidi Stevens is a business coach for creative and professional women entrepreneurs. She supports women entrepreneurs to build their business in inspired and strategic ways. She helps them leverage themselves and their time, hire great team members, get clear on their boundaries, and have a healthy, empowered relationship with money. Heidi is passionate about giving women the tools that she has used herself to grow a 7-figure business and truly live the life of her dreams. Hi, Heidi.
Hi, Carrie. So excited to be on here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you and to share you with my audience. Heidi and I got to know each other several years back through a coaching program, and I've gotten a chance to kind of watch your journey over the past couple of years. And so I'd love for you maybe even just to dive in a little bit and share what that 7-figure business is and kind of what that transition has looked like into really running your online coaching business.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so for the last decade plus, I've been pretty immersed in the commercial real estate industry here in Los Angeles. And so I have built, along with my husband, multiple 7-figure business. Really over the last 4 to 5 years is where it's really taken off. And, it's been wonderful. It's been, really given us an amazing lifestyle and provided us with a lot of opportunities that I am really grateful for. And, there has always been kind of, the something sitting on my shoulder telling me that like, this really isn't the end all be all for me. And while at times and seasons that I have definitely felt super excited about it and energized, there has always just been this like push-pull and just really like a knowing that I really am meant to step more into the coaching a coaching role. And I have known that for quite some time. And so I have been very, very involved in personal development for 12 years. And 4 years ago, I started coaching women in real estate specifically. And then I got married, I got pregnant really quickly. I think we were like building a house at the time. And and I was actually still very, very involved in real estate. And so it was just too much happening along with having my first baby. And so I took a step back. And it was about 6-7 months ago that I got literally just the super clear download. Like there was zero questions about it, that now is the time to get back into coaching. And it's been really exciting and really fun. And it's been quite a journey the last 6 to 8 months.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like it's been a journey even over the last 4 or 5 years. And,
yes.
I've heard you share before, and I'd love for you just to share a little bit with our audience in regards to, that kind of personal development journey that you've been on and how you even got into real estate. Because I know you've got kind of a story behind that. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So, I got into real estate. It was really nothing more than my coming out of college and my dad telling me, hey, you'd be really good at real estate. And I said, okay, great. I'll go try it. I had some friends at the time and I had some friends at the time that were doing very well after just about a year. And I knew nothing about commercial real estate at all. I didn't have an econ background. I didn't have a financial background. But I kind of thought about it and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be driving people around on the weekends and on, Tuesday nights. And so I said, I'm going to go into the commercial world because it's really more of a business. And so I got a mentor. I dove in really, really quickly. And I joke that it wasn't, 12 to 24 months in that I was completely burned out, full on adrenal fatigue, had some, weight gain, and just a lot of health issues came forward. And so I really used that as an art. Like I didn't know what else to do other than like go get a therapist and hire a coach. And it just started me on this journey of doing a lot of personal development and spiritual work. And I really am so grateful for that experience. And it was really interesting because through that journey of like looking deeper and asking the bigger questions of why am I here and what's my purpose and how do I really be of service in this world, the more that I was doing that, like I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to go be a yoga instructor, or, oh my goodness, I'm going to take women to India, or like, Italy, or whatever it was. Like I just had all these, I'm going to go be an interior designer. Like I just wanted to do all these different things. And while there would have been nothing wrong with that, when I kept like tuning back into what is the next step, I kept getting pointed back into the real estate industry. And so I didn't know why, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me at the time, right? Hindsight's 2020.
Right.
And it's like today I can see I ended up meeting my husband. We built this business. I got all this like skill set as a COO and in marketing and in all these just different things that I really learned over this last decade that now I can, share in a new way, and just kind of like package up the information and all the life experience that I've had to then go and be of massive service to these women that I'm supporting these days.
That's so important. And I love what you said about like tapping in and just following that next step, because I think so often as like driven women, we want to have like the whole plan laid out. We want to know every step along the journey. And sometimes it's hard just to take that next step with a little bit of faith and trust. Can you talk a little bit about that? And maybe even what would you advise somebody that's looking to take that next step? How did you learn to trust yourself? Because really it sounds like that's what your journey was all about, was kind of tapping in and trusting.
Yeah. You know what? I need to like figure that out because I've been getting that question a lot these days on like, how did you do this?
Give me a how-to.
I know. And it's like, I feel like I just kept asking really good questions. And most of all, I kept desiring it. Like it was a deep desire of mine to have a more fulfilling experience. It was a desire of mine to be more in tune with my femininity, to learn how to soften, to learn how to develop a really a direct experience with something greater than myself. And so I, at least from my experience, when I started asking good questions and when it just started kind of becoming in my awareness, the next person, the next book, the next retreat, like the ways, the how-tos just started falling into place. And it wasn't like, you don't have to like map out. There's no way that you can map out the whole journey because you only are where you are at any given time. And when you just start opening up your eyes, it's like someone tells you about a song and all of a sudden you hear that song the next day on the radio, right?
Right.
It's the same type of thing. It's like you just become aware of like, oh, this is something that I'm interested in. And spirit really meets you at the point of inquiry and then of action. So where we like, where it becomes our part is you ask the question, then when you receive the little like tidbit, again, whether it's the book or the friend or the introduction or the mentor or the teacher, we then have to have the courage inside of us to take that next step and to meet, spiritual, divine, feminine, whatever you want to call it, at that place.
Oh, I love that so much. So inquiry and then action. So it's kind of that combination. And so I know, like you mentioned already, you kind of combined forces and you and your husband started running your business together. Can you tell us a little bit about what that looked like to work with your husband, and how did y'all have that to be able to be business partners and then be able to be, come home and have that relationship? Because I know that can be kind of an art to kind of balance.
Absolutely. We have a really interesting story that I don't know that I would recommend to a lot of people. We actually merged our business prior to dating. We became business partners first, and then I literally moved in like 2 or 3 months later.
Wow.
Mind you, I know,
y'all did everything quick.
We did. We always do everything. We're just, yes. But I will say we had been best friends, and we had been in each other's lives for about 6, 7, 8 years prior to us merging. And we kind of knew, even though we weren't really, it was like we were just all in. So that's how we started, which was really intense. It was like merge businesses. I moved in, merge bank accounts. I mean, it was fast. That being said, we had to work at this new partnership and new relationship and in all ways. And it wasn't super easy overnight. It's been a beautiful experience. We've had coaches, we've gone to, therapy together. We've both have gone through a program on personal development and spirituality. It's like we've learned to really communicate. And if I can give any, just nuggets, it's really learn how to communicate and do it in a way that's effective for the polarities of like the masculine and feminine. I did a lot of work with Allison Armstrong early on in my days. And it's like men have a specific way that it works for them to be spoken to. And so when we go to them and we're like, if we're like in like a crazy, like, I'm like feeling stressed about this and anxious about this and fearful on this, it's like we got to like kind of get our stuff in order and take care of our own process. And then from, as one of our mentors talks about, really coming from our queen, then sharing and meeting and connecting. Like, this isn't like, I did not start a business with my husband for him to like take care of me. Like, I really met him as a partner. And we got really clear on what were his areas of expertise and what were my areas of expertise. I guess that's another nugget that has been really supportive for us in really all areas, from building homes to making investments to raising a child to running businesses. We really divide and conquer, and we trust one another to make decisions, and we don't like really get in each other's stuff around it. Like, he'll invest our 401k money and I'll say, great. And I'll make decisions on the marble that we're choosing for our house and I'll say, great. And it's just like, we're not having to like make decisions together every step of the way, which can get, it can be so draining.
Yeah. It's almost having like, you've got to be in control of everything, like being a control freak. And that doesn't work in any area of life.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we really trust each other and we respect one another. And that's really supportive for us.
That's amazing. That sounds like such a beautiful relationship to be able to have that level of trust and support, it sounds like, as well, because you obviously were building in this real estate business and then made the transition into coaching. And I'd love to hear a little bit about how that looks. And are you still working in the real estate business, or are you 100% in your coaching business?
So I am 100% in my coaching business. I do support Kenny and I sometimes with some of his team. Like, if he's needing to hire certain people, that's kind of what I always did. Or his assistant's been emailing me a little bit today just about marketing ideas that they have. So I help in that way, but I'm really not involved at all. Other than asking him just about where, his business is at financially. Him and I do like our finances together. So I kind of update him on where I'm at. He updates me where he's at. And then that way we can make decisions on, certain things financially together moving forward. But that's really about it, which feels like really exciting and freeing. And I will say that he has been amazing at supporting me. And And for a long time there, when I was doing it 4 years ago, he was supportive, but he was also just feeling like I was kind of abandoning him a little bit. And, and so it's been a process, and there's definitely times that come up that we just have to work through it, and we have to talk through it. But it really feels like for him and I, for our highest and best, it's important for me to really go out and do what I meant to do and serve the women that I meant to serve. And then really give him the space and the freedom for him to do the same.
That's awesome. So from an outside perspective, it kind of looks like you came into the coaching world, and I mean, you're kind of everywhere, and it looks like you're having a lot of success. And obviously, as we're talking, you have a long history of being an entrepreneur and a lot of personal development and spiritual work. And, but from the outside perspective, again, it could look like, oh, you just kind of came into the world and blew up. And so I would love if you could maybe even talk to that a little bit, and maybe give a couple of keys to what has been your success, because, a lot of the women that are listening to this show, they're in the same boat. They've either had careers in corporate, or maybe they've owned another business, and they're looking to transition, or they're looking to bring their skill set and their purpose and their mission into some sort of a coaching and consulting business. And I think that can be scary to think about, the possibility of it not working out.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I just want to say thank you. I'm so glad that it feels like looks like I'm blowing up right away.
Absolutely.
That's exciting to hear. And we all have, it's just like a fact that things look better than they are on the outside. So that being said, there has been a level of grace and ease in my experience the last couple of months. And I think it's a couple of things. I'll just speak to my experience, and then I'll share with you, kind of my tips, I think, for women that are trying to do the same.
Perfect.
For me, and it wasn't this way 4 years ago. So while it looks like I'm kind of all of a sudden like blown up, I'm not new to coaching. So I already kind of knew the models, I knew the steps. And I was able to put them into action much quicker this time around. Mm-hmm. I also think that there's really a level of integration that where I'm at, just personally, professionally, that it's like when you're really like locked in, it's like, it's kind of been like there's like a grounding. And I feel like when we're in that place, when we're really clear on who's our target market, what is our messaging, who is that person that we're meant to serve, what is my branding, how do I want those pictures to look, who am I in this world? And I really give a lot of credit to the work that I have done on myself personally for me to be able to kind of overflow in that way, or just be on brand from the very beginning, which again wasn't my experience 4 years ago. And I think when I'm working with new coaches, it can take some time to figure out who you are and where you fit in this rather, there's just a lot of noise online. So it takes a while to figure out how to cut through the noise. Totally. My advice for somebody new is, especially if they've had success in the corporate world, the couple of clients that I've worked with that are transitioning from corporate to coaching, it is to like do that deeper work in like your own value and what you bring to the table. When we've had success in the corporate world, especially if it's like with a big company, we tend to think that it's that big company that has gotten us to where we've gotten. And that's a lesson that I learned really early on when I left a huge commercial real estate company, and they basically brainwash you to make you think that you're getting the business because of the name. And when I stepped out on my own in real estate and really learned that my clients and the business that I was building was because of what I was doing and the service I was offering and the marketing that I was putting out there in the world, and it wasn't because of the corporation, it really like supported me in having this like new level of confidence that, I've been able to kind of shift from the real estate world. And while on, really growing an online coaching business is much more vulnerable and putting much more content out there, sharing myself personally in a much deeper way. It is deeper and different, but it is similar. I know enough to know that people are working for me and not my company.
Mm-hmm. That's such a good reminder, and kind of like, just to really kind of embrace all of our skills and all the different aspects, because like, I think you're a great example of, you have this real estate background and success, but you also were doing so much spiritual work, so much personal development work. You were getting certified in classes and all this. And I think I see so many women kind of negate all that other stuff, and they just want to hang on to, whatever they did in corporate. And I think that's the beauty of being able to come into a coaching business, is we get to bring it all with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I will just share, just openly, that I have been able to have a team, not a huge team, but I've been able to have a social media manager and, and hire just a very, very, very part-time VA right from the get-go. And so while I totally understand that not every single person is in that same situation right off the gate, and that it can take some time to build up, I do really support my clients in getting really clear on where are their abilities to leverage. Is it hiring the babysitter for, 10 hours a week so you can focus after your child gets out of school? Is it hiring that VA for 4 hours a week to send out those newsletters? Because the truth is that spending 10 hours of my time on MailChimp getting out those 2 or 3 emails a week is like such a waste of time and energy, and literally drives me like bat crazy, right?
I can tell you're getting all fired up.
Oh my God, it like sucks the energy out of me. So if I can support myself in hiring people that are way better than I am, and we are so lucky in this day and age for technology and resources, and even like people overseas that can help us. It's like there are so many options. And so really getting out of your own story of, I can't afford it, or I don't have help, or, well, just like get out of the comparison and get into your truth and what you want to create, can make a huge like difference. And the other thing I have to say, it's like, I was listening to a podcast that Tony Robbins was doing yesterday. It's like 80% of this is psychological, and 20% of it is the actual like system structures. And it is so true. So as much as we all want to find like the perfect formula and exactly what to do and how to run Facebook ads and how to, blah, 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 it's like when you do that work, it's like all of a sudden it becomes more clear. Oh, this is my message. Oh, this is the next step to take in order to get myself out there. Oh, this is the type of photo shoot that I'm like meant to do to like share, who I am in the world. It's like, create that space, allow for the creativity to come through. And it does. It really, really does.
That's so good. That's such a good reminder to everybody too. Yeah. Just focusing on that, on the inner work, but, and then the other pieces will kind of lay themselves out. So definitely on the show, one of the focuses here is talking about how we give back and how we can really make an impact in our business. And beyond us knowing each other, already, what I saw and what I was really attracted to when you relaunched your coaching business was how important giving back was to you. I saw the beautiful event that you put on. And so I'd love to give you an opportunity to just kind of share from your heart, why is giving back so important? And then, to kind of share what you're doing in your business and what charities you're connected with to be able to give back.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a really profound experience about 2 years ago. It actually kind of brings me to tears a little bit, because it was really a special experience where, as part of getting my master's in spiritual psychology, one of the aspects of the program was to donate a minimum, I believe it was either 12 or 16 hours a month to a nonprofit of your choice. And it was really interesting to see my husband and I, giving back has always been a big thing for us. And we have always, been very involved in different charities and giving back and, going to events, et cetera, et cetera. But when I was actually kind of required or asked to give of my time, I quickly had a lot of my own stories. I'm busy. I'm a mom. I'm running new businesses. I had every story in the book. Mm-hmm. And that was just my own resistance and, ego getting in the way of a new experience. And when I really what happened was so beautiful, because I found this shelter, literally 6 minutes from my house. I was like, I don't have time to drive downtown LA to be of service. Well, anyways, I found this shelter for women that it's called the Harvest Home, and they house women that are pregnant, and they live there for 6 months. It's the most beautiful, spiritually centered home. And I would go there every single week for 2 to 4 hours at a time. And it was so transformational. It was humbling. I was like saying, sure, I'll like clean the showers and like the toilet. I came home and I was like, honey, I can't tell you the last time that I've like cleaned a shower. And it was just, there was something just like getting like, and then I was like cooking for them and like making food and just connecting with these women. And it was like, you know what, there's nothing like better or worse or different. Like the truth, like I'm not that different than these girls. And it just opened me up in a whole new way. And so, you know, one of like, I really, when I am like find a new charity that I feel like is amazing or that I can get behind, not that I have, 10 hours every week to go and donate my time, but I really make an effort to go down to the school or meet the kids here or meet the women, or go and whatever it is. So to really get that like one-on-one experience, and it shifts everything for me. And so, yeah, one of my newly found passions since having this experience is giving back and really bringing awareness to these charities that I feel excited about. And so when I was launching kind of the rebrand of my coaching business, I did an event here in Culver City in LA, and it was awesome. It was 100 women, and we all got together and, drinking wine and having past hors d'oeuvres, all with the intention of bringing awareness. This one was for a nonprofit called Girls Inc. And so it feels like it was just an expression of who I am. I love giving back. I love supporting women and children. I love entertaining. I love drinking wine. I love gathering women entrepreneurs. And then I had an actress like give just kind of like a motivational speech, and I talked for a little bit. So it was just a way to like, get women together and do something of service and of meeting. And I appreciate you even, bringing this up, because I was super excited about when I did it. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to keep doing them. And, just life gets busy. And so it just reminds me how important it is to continue making an impact in that way and bringing awareness to these nonprofits today more than ever, given our current political climate, to raise money and awareness for people that are doing massive, great work in the world.
And I think that was one of the things that I was so excited to see you go through that process, because I kind of watched as you were selling the tickets and talking about it, is that not only did you do something great for this charity, you raised money, which, is super impactful for a charity, but I think you showed other entrepreneurs how valuable and how easy it can be to, like you said, bring awareness, bring community together, bring connection and to do it for a good purpose. And, that was part of the reason that I wanted to start this show, is because I wanted to have conversations like this, because it can look different. It can look like going to, the actual charity and giving back time. It can look like tithing in your business or giving a certain percentage. It can look like, bringing community together to raise money. And I think when we don't have this conversation, I think people have this one directional or one way that they think it has to look. And so I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, because what we talk about too is like, so many people say, well, I'm not making any money right now. How could I give back? I'm not supporting myself yet. And I kind of feel like it's the opposite. Like the more that I give, the more that I make. So what are your thoughts on that?
I really do agree with both camps, and I can see where both sides of the story are coming in. The truth is that we can't give what we don't have. And if we are, feel like we are like drowning in our business or barely making ends meet, or we don't have enough money to pay rent, it's like the thought of like giving and like being of service is so challenging. That being said, to that person, that's like, I'll share, I was in a 12-step program for a number of years, and being a sponsor with having to give my time to sponsees was the first experience that I had that I don't need to be giving away $100 a month or whatever number a month to be tithing and to be sharing my time and being of service. So to that person, I would say, when one of the ways that we get out of our own way, and then we get out of our own head and our own stories of like, oh, woe is me and how bad is my life or whatever. It's like by going and being of service and really like putting into perspective what other people's experiences are. And so go down to your local shelter, go give your time. And no one can tell me, no one can tell me I'm like, have so many moving parts.
Right.
Anybody can find 1 hour a week or 4 hours a month on a Saturday or a Sunday to go to the food kitchen or the shelter or wherever it is that makes sense for them to give up their time. So that would be my recommendation to them. And then, and then with what you're saying, I 100% agree. It's like the more money you give and the more tithing and just the more that you come from a place of generosity, it's like universe is like meeting you at the point of action. And so, that being said, there have been points in Kenny and I's career over the last couple of years where we feel like we've given like so much. And then all of a sudden the next year we're like, wait, what's happening to our cash flow? Like we got to like pull it in a little bit here and there. And then we like give again. So again, it's like seasons, right? It's like the ebb and flow. And so whether it's time, whether it's picking up the phone when your girlfriend calls you and she's in desperate need of just, for you to like just be there and be of service, whether it's going and offering babysitting services to your new friend that had a baby, whether it's going to the local shop. It doesn't have to be this like grand, like flying to Africa and like serving 100 people at once. It's like the littlest ways that we just like give back. And it really allows us to open up our heart. And from my direct experience, actually giving of time has been that much more profound than giving of money.
Yeah. And I think too, it's coming from that abundant mentality, right? It's like, if we don't think we have enough time, then we create our reality. And the same thing with our finances. And I like that, just giving some simple examples of how we can give back, because, for most of us, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking, we start an online business because we want more freedom. We want to be able to set our own schedule and have time with our children or our families and things like that. And I think if we're not using that for the greater good of humanity, what's the point? I mean, that's to me, like, what's the point? Like, I really want to make an impact and, be a blessing with the fact that I have freedom to set my own schedule, and I can go out on a, Tuesday afternoon and go work at the shelter. I don't have to do it on a Saturday. So
exactly. Yeah. And then, I'll just share too, just one last thing about the event that I did. It's like, get creative in your business, right? It's like, here, I was able to pull in an actress to like give a speech. And she probably wouldn't have done it just for women entrepreneurs. She did it because she was super excited about this charity that we were promoting. And then I got to like have 100 women in the room, like with my logo on certain things. And I mean, it was like a free PR event for me, all in service to like, bringing awareness to this group. And so it's like, and so what, that I didn't take the money home from that event. It's like, we raised more money and probably had a lot more people come to that event because all of the proceeds were going to this nonprofit. So it's like, whether that's done on a scale of 10 people or 15 people in your home or a larger, experience, it's just about, I feel like it's just about getting creative and doing things that light you up. Like if the local charity doesn't light you up, then don't do it as like a PR thing,
right?
Right? But it's like, whatever is like exciting for you, like move in that direction, and then ask like, what's a way that I can be of service? I will share one thing. When I got this download last November that like, okay, I actually didn't get the download that it's time to go back into coaching. I didn't hear that. What I heard was, it is time to start gathering women and be of service and give back. And I had no idea that I was actually going to start coaching again, but I knew that I had to do this event. And just in taking the action steps, you're reminding me of this because I haven't thought about this in a while, in taking the action steps to put together the event, to start looking at my list again. Who did I want there? What was this? What was the vibe? What was the style? What was the charity? All of a sudden I started thinking like, that woman would be fun to work with as a one-on-one coach. I think I could maybe do that. Maybe I should put together a group program. Like it just started kind of coming as I was taking steps at taking action to do this one thing that I like heard very clearly. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah. So that kind of answers the question we were talking about earlier. It's like you just follow that next step, follow that next step.
Yep.
And we'll just wrap up this portion on this because I think what you said too is like you combine things you already love. You love gathering people. You love, being a hostess and a speaker and connection. And, maybe for everybody that wouldn't be the right fit. And so again, doing it in a way that feels really good. And it doesn't have to be any one way, but following that intuition, tapping in, asking, what does that look like? How can I be of service? How can, what is the right charity? Because that's, a lot of people talk, we could talk about that probably for another hour. Like, how do you find the right charity? How do you figure out what one to partner with? And I think one of the points too, I'm assuming you're going to do it again, is that it doesn't mean you're committed to them for the rest of your life. Like you can have other charities that you connect with, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The next event I would do it with a different charity. Yeah, absolutely. And I just got invited to sit on the board of another charity. And so it's like, just really like, what's a yes? And it doesn't have to be this, big, long project. It's like, start asking around. And like I started this, this conversation with, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it would be nice to like be of service in a bigger way. And it's just like, you have that thought, you really like sit with that. And you start opening up your eyes. You start talking about it. You start connecting with people in your community. Do you know of anything? Or are you? And it's like all of a sudden, like the pieces, and you're like, oh, I didn't even. Honestly, when I got this task or to do that, I had to like go be of service. I was already donating money to this harvest home every single month, and yet I was like, I can't find the right place. I'm gonna have to drive really far. Again, I had all these stories, and then somebody was like, what about this place called Harvest Home? It was like hilarious because I was already tithing every single month to them anyways.
Oh my gosh, it was right in front of your face.
So again, I was just in my own way. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at what you're already passionate about, what you already are giving to. That's exactly. A great point.
Yeah.
Well, I want to move into the lightning round. So I'm going to just ask you a couple of quick questions, just quick answers, whatever comes to your mind.
I'm so bad at this. I'm just going to let you know, but sure.
Okay. They're not too tough. So the first one is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice I've ever seen, and the one that I wish I would have followed more in my 20s, was enjoy the journey.
Nice.
I just struggled. I wanted to be married. I wanted to be making more money. I wanted this life so bad. And I just wish I would have like looked at myself. I wish I could look back at myself and just go, just enjoy it a little. You're going to get everything you want. You're a go-getter. You're a high achiever. I promise you, you're going to get it. Just enjoy it a little bit more.
That's so important. Number 2, what's your favorite quote, mantra, or Bible verse?
Ooh, quote, mantra, or Bible verse. There's a quote from Rumi that I love that says, out beyond the fields, out beyond the doings of right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there.
Oh.
And what I love about that is that really at like our highest level, at our highest vibration of where spirit, God, source, universe lives, there really is no right and wrong. And so it's like when we can go to that space of just accepting what is, when we don't have to get into our like, it's just like, it really is just all love, and love is unconditional and accepting. And whenever I get into my own of like, you did this and I did this and I'm right, it's just like, just go to that field, breathe it in. It's all good.
That's awesome. I love that. And what's one book that you would recommend to our audience and why?
There's a few. Divine Law of Compensation by Marianne Williamson. It's just, it feels like it is the perfect, it really talks about how to manifest money coming from a place of service. And then just a few others because I just can't say one. Leveraging the Universe by Mike Dooley. I also love The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks because he talks about, how we really get in our own way.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say those are my 3 for right now.
Love it, love it, love it. And then last question. So you're doing great. What's one thing you do every day that helps you stay in action towards your purpose?
I do not do it every day, but the thing that I wish that I did every single day was my 10-minute morning routine.
Oh, tell us a little bit about that.
So I do 3 minutes of breath of fire just as a way to get out of my head and get into my body and get into a heart space. I then do some type of meditation, being in gratitude, focusing on what I'm already grateful for, sending that gratitude and that feeling of love to my family, my friends, my clients, really blessing them. And then really ending with focusing on my 6th chakra, my 3rd eye, and visualizing whatever end result I want to be co-creating at that time. And just basking in that, feeling the feelings, going into that vibration, not asking how, but just really knowing that it's already done.
That's fantastic. And then that propels you into doing everything that you need to do for the day and getting going, huh?
Oh my gosh. When I do that, I literally feel like I'm like on fire. Like I have so much energy. And the only reason why I don't do that every day, which is not an excuse because I can always find 10 minutes. I have a 3-year-old and he's been getting up a lot in the middle of the night. And so some mornings I'm just kind of dragging out of bed and grabbing my cup of coffee and I'm starting my day. Those days when I'm just like it just doesn't, the days don't flow as well, And so every single time, which happens about 4 days a week, where I just said, great, I'm doing my, meditation this morning, I'm doing my morning routine. It's like my days just go so much better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for sharing so much with me, with the audience. And I just appreciate so much how you're just showing up and, the way that you share with your tribe and your audience and, the big things that you're up to and the events that you're doing. And, I just really admire how you seemingly balance it all with having, a business and a relationship and a 3-year-old and just what you're up to in the coaching world and making such big waves. So, I appreciate you sharing with the Big Heart community and, I just wish you so much luck and blessings on everything that you're going to be doing. I know you've got a big retreat coming up and, so again, just thank you for sharing with us. So
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's
awesome. And what's the best place for our audience to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. If they go to HeidiStevensInc.com, they can find me there. And then my Instagram handle is Heidi Stevens Inc. I also have a Facebook group called The Spiritual CEO.
Perfect. And we'll link all that up in the show notes so everybody can connect with you. So again, thank you so much for sharing with us and being our guest. And we'll see you again soon.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Big Heart Business Show. If you know someone that could benefit from this information, I would so appreciate it if you shared the love. And make sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a review. One last thing, if you're ready to fuel your big heart business with a consistent flow of cash and clients, head on over to carrieshepard.com/free gift to access a very special video series I created just for you. And don't forget, we are changing the world one big heart business at a time.